A few years ago, a client came into my clinic completely in tears. She looked at me and said, "Dr. Tony, I feel like the worst dog mom on the planet." She told me she was sitting on her living room floor, palms sweating, gripping a pair of heavy metal clippers, while her lab stared at her with pure panic. She held her breath, squeezed the handle, and crack! Her dog yelped in pain and scrambled backward. Her heart instantly dropped into her stomach. She had cut too deep and bright red blood was blooming all over her rug. I looked her in the eye and told her, "Last month I did the exact same thing to my own dog." Sighs. So, if you have ever felt that exact same sinking feeling in your stomach, take a deep, deep breath. Please let go of the guilt. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Tony Lee, your neighborhood veterinarian. Now, I know the vast majority of you probably just avoid the stress entirely and pay a professional grooming shop or a vet clinic to handle it. But let's be honest, spending $20, $30, or even $40 every single month just to watch your dog get pinned down and terrified isn't a real solution. It's expensive and it breaks your heart. What if you could save hundreds of dollars a year and keep your dog completely calm right in your own living room? In this masterclass, I am going to teach you how to stop fighting your dog. We are going to expose the hidden, silent, skeletal danger of long nails. And I'm going to reveal my absolute favorite 5-minute vet hacks. I will teach you the brilliant flashlight trick for terrifying solid black nails, the psychological secret of counter-conditioning, and finally, how to train your dog to literally file their own nails down to perfection, acting like it's a fun game. Hit that subscribe button to join our family of empowered pet parents. Throw those clippers away and let's get started. Let's start with Chapter 1. We need to talk about why we are even doing this in the first place. This is the skeletal secret. A lot of pet parents think cutting nails is just a cosmetic chore like human manicures. Or maybe you just want to stop the annoying click, click, click sound on your hardwood floor. But as a veterinarian, I look at dog nails completely differently. For dogs, long nails are not a cosmetic issue. They are a massive, painful orthopedic emergency. A dog's foot is a brilliant piece of biomechanical engineering. When a dog stands naturally, their toes should be tight and compact, and their nails should hover just slightly above the floor. The only thing touching the ground should be their soft, leathery paw pads. But what happens when the nails grow too long? When a dog with overgrown nails stands up, the hard nail strikes the floor before the paw pad does. Because the floor is solid, the floor pushes back. Every single time your dog takes a step, that overgrown nail is shoved backward, violently jamming the toe bone up into the joint. Imagine if you were wearing a pair of shoes that were 2 sizes too small, forcing your toes to curl upward, and then trying to go for a thream run. Over time, that constant, unnatural pressure physically alters the skeletal posture of your dog. Their toes splay apart. They start shifting their body weight backward to avoid the pain in their front paws. This causes a massive chain reaction, putting severe unnatural strain on their wrists, elbows, shoulders, and eventually their spine. Leaving a dog's nails long for years is one of the leading accelerators of premature, crippling arthritis in senior dogs. We absolutely must keep them short, but we refuse to traumatize them to do it. So how do we keep them short without causing pain? Welcome to Chapter 2, the anatomy of the quick. To conquer our fear of making them bleed, we have to understand what the blood vessel actually is. Inside your dog's hard outer nail, there is a living, breathing, highly sensitive core called the quick. It contains the blood supply and a bundle of extremely sensitive nerves. This is why cutting it feels exactly like someone ripping off your fingernail. It is agonizing. But here is the greatest, most miraculous biological secret of the canine nail. The quick is alive, which means it responds to its environment. If you let your dog's nails grow very long, the blood vessel naturally grows longer right alongside it, stretching far down into the tip. If you take a clipper and try to chop a long nail all the way back to the paw in one single cut, you will inevitably sever that blood vessel. But if you use a filing method and gently sand down the very tip of the hard nail just a tiny fraction of a millimeter, biology takes over. When the hard protective tip of the nail is gently worn away, the exposed blood vessel senses the change. To protect itself from exposure, the quick will naturally shrink and recede backward into the toe. This means if you file their nails just a tiny bit once or twice a week, the blood vessel constantly retreats backward. Over a month, those long, dangerous nails naturally shorten all by themselves without a single drop of blood or a single moment of pain. Okay, Dr. Tony, file them. That sounds great, but my dog hates having their paws touched. Even bringing out a file makes them run away. Welcome to Chapter 3, Counter Conditioning. You cannot just grab your dog, pin them down, and start aggressively filing their feet. If they have had a bad experience in the past, their brain has created a powerful negative emotional anchor. Nail maintenance equals pain and restraint. We have to delete that neurological program and replace it with a positive one. We do this using a behavioral psychology technique called counter conditioning. You are going to systematically rewire their brain by changing the emotional outcome of the event. And we are going to do it using their absolute favorite currency, incredibly high-value food. I'm talking about tiny pieces of hot dog, boiled chicken, or cheese. Step 1. You do not even touch the dog. You simply bring the nail file or the clippers into the living room and set them on the coffee table. The moment your dog looks at the tool, say yes in a happy voice and immediately toss them a piece of chicken. Do this 5 times to their brain. The terrifying tool just became a magic wand that makes chicken fall from the sky. Step 2. We must conquer paw sensitivity. Many dogs have a defensive reflex when their feet are touched. Sit next to your dog. Reach out and touch their shoulder. Give a treat. Slowly glide your hand down their leg. Give a treat. Tap the top of their paw for just 1 single second and instantly give them a massive jackpot of treats. Do not hold the paw, just tap, treat, and retreat. You do this over a period of several days. You slowly build up to lifting the paw for 1 second, treating and letting go. You are teaching them that giving you their paw is not a trap. It is a highly profitable, entirely voluntary game. Once they happily hand you their paw, you are ready for the magic. But what about those solid, opaque, jet black nails where you absolutely cannot see where the blood vessel ends? Welcome to Chapter 4, the black nail flashlight hack. White or clear nails are easy. You can see the pink vein shining right through. But solid black nails are a guessing game, and they are the reason most owners just give up entirely. Here is the brilliant 60-second veterinary secret that will change your life today. First, take a tiny drop of plain baby oil or a dab of water and rub it directly onto the hard black nail. The oil hydrates the dry keratin, removing the chalky, powdery exterior and making the shell slightly more translucent. Next, take your smartphone, turn on the super bright LED flashlight feature. I want you to hold the dog's paw and place the lens of the flashlight directly underneath the nail, pressing the light right up against the bottom of the toe pad, shining upward toward the ceiling. Prepare to have your mind blown. The intense, concentrated beam of light will shine straight through the oiled black keratin shell. You will clearly see exactly where the solid, dense, dark mass of the quick ends and where the hollow, translucent, empty tip of the nail begins. It creates a perfectly visible map. You now know exactly how much hollow tip you can safely file away without ever touching the nerve. But what if I told you there was a way to bypass all of this handling entirely? What if I told you that you could literally train your dog to give themselves a flawless pedicure while you just sit back and watch? Welcome to Chapter 5. My absolute favorite trick in all of canine maintenance, the scratchboard miracle. Dogs possess a deeply primal instinct to dig and scratch at the earth. We are going to hijack that natural biological drive and use it to maintain their front nails safely, painlessly, and happily. First, you are going to acquire a scratchboard. You can easily buy pre-made dog scratch boards online for about $15 to $20, but you can also build one yourself at home for about $3. Just take a sturdy flat piece of wood or a hard plastic clipboard and securely tape or glue a sheet of medium grit sandpaper across the front. That's it. Now, how do we get the dog to use it? We use the exact same counter conditioning logic we just talked about. Sit on the floor with your dog, Hold the scratch board flat on the ground in front of you. Take a highly pungent, smelly treat and place your hand flat underneath the board so the dog can smell the treat, but they can't quite get to it. Your dog is going to become frustrated. They want the treat under the board. Their natural instinct will kick in and they will lift their front paw and aggressively smack or scratch at the sandpaper board trying to dig for the food. The absolute millisecond their nails scrape down that sandpaper making that shee sound. You say yes in an incredibly happy voice and immediately hand them the treat. Do it again. Hide the treat under the board. Wait for the dog to scratch it with their paw. Hesh? Yes. Give the treat. Within 5 minutes, the dog's brain creates the association. They'd be like, wait a minute. If I scrape my claws down this rough surface, the human just showers me with chicken. Once they figure out the game, you can simply hold the board up at a 45-degree angle while you sit on the couch. Your dog will happily walk right up, lift both front paws, and enthusiastically file their own nails down, rapidly wearing away the sharp, overgrown tips on that sandpaper. They are fully in control. There is zero restraint, zero fear of cutting the quick and zero stress. It burns off mental energy. It provides a fun bonding game, and it keeps their front paws perfectly, immaculately short. Now, I know the immediate question you are shouting at the screen right now, Dr. Tony, that is brilliant for the front paws, but how on earth do I get them to file their back legs? You are entirely correct. It is practically impossible to train a dog to voluntarily scratch a board backward with their rear paws. Luckily, the back nails naturally stay much shorter than the front ones because dogs push off their back legs when they walk on pavement, naturally grinding them down. But for the occasional back nail trim, we are going to use the ultimate counter-conditioning distraction tool. We use the lick mat wall hack. Just take a textured silicone lick mat or even just a cheap silicone pod holder. Smear it heavily with a mixture of completely plain, unsweetened yogurt and a spoonful of xylitol-free peanut butter. Check that peanut butter label 3 times to ensure it has no burnt sugar. Stick this heavily coated mat into the freezer overnight until it is rock solid. When it is time to file those back nails, stick the frozen lick mat firmly to the tile wall or the glass shower door at exactly your dog's nose level. When your dog begins furiously licking that frozen treat, their brain is utterly hijacked. The repetitive, rhythmic licking of cold food forces their brain to release massive waves of dopamine and endorphins. This neurochemical cascade acts like a natural, powerful sedative. While they are completely entranced in dopamine bliss, you simply sit on the floor by their rear legs, take a quiet electric nail grinder or a manual dog file, and gently sand down the very tips of their back toes. They are so incredibly focused on the peanut butter that they will barely even notice you are back there. You have successfully conquered their fear. Dog maintenance does not have to be a battlefield. For so many years, the industry taught us that we had to show them who is boss, pin them to the floor, and endure their screams to get the job done. But science, biology, and compassion have evolved by understanding that long nails are a skeletal danger. By knowing how the living blood vessel recedes, by illuminating the dark with a simple flashlight, and by replacing fear with treats, sandpaper, and peanut butter, you completely alter the dynamic of your household. You are transforming from a source of terror and restraint into a generous pack leader who brings them joy, safety, and comfort. Taking 20 minutes of your day to learn these behavioral and biological secrets proves just how dedicated you are to your dog's well-being. They do not know why the anxiety is suddenly gone. They just know that when they are with you, they are totally safe. And if this deep dive lifted a massive weight of anxiety off your shoulders today, please gently hit that like button. It signals to the YouTube algorithm that this natural, stress-free veterinary advice works, and it helps our channel reach and rescue millions of other dogs who are terrified of the clippers. So make sure you hit subscribe to join our incredible, ever-growing family. I am Dr. Tony Lee,